morning or good afternoon or good night, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. My name is Karen and welcome back to episode 2 of Karen's Knit Picks, my knitting podcast. First things first, I guess I figured we'll start with a couple of updates and just chat a little bit before I get into my completed objects. And I have some new whips that I talked about in my first podcast episode, and then I think I want to also chat about some tools that I just got in, and then we'll get into what I'm planning on working on next after this. So let's just get into it, shall we? Let's see. First things first, it was just Thanksgiving last week, so that was fantastic. I'm so glad that we got to just hang out with our families. I got to give my first gift, actually, my first hand knit gift, which I will get into when I talk about my completed objects. And yeah, it was just such a lovely time. I really feel like I just needed time to like decompress. I felt like I was, you know, when you like get overwhelmed and you like can't do anything because you're feeling overwhelmed. I feel like I was kind of getting like that. So things kind of were at a standstill and I felt like I couldn't be productive, but now that I've had a couple of days off, I feel great and like ready to just get back into my regular life and my regular routine. So that was really, really fantastic. Something else that I've been up to while I was kind of taking a break was just watching a ton of knitting podcasts. There's so many people that do knitting podcasts and I love it. I love seeing what people are working on. I love seeing like the yarns that people are buying, so I think it's just been like fun to watch. So if you have any podcasters that you love to listen to or anyone that you think I should check out, leave a comment below because I really am like so into it right now. I want to make sure that I am finding a nice variety of different knitting podcasters to watch and listen to. So yeah, let me know. The other thing that I'm thinking about is just going into next year and planning out some of the patterns that I want to make. I am feeling a little bit torn on some things. So I started knitting in October. I don't know if you watched my first episode, I gave a little bit of a background about myself and when I started knitting. So yeah. So you could watch that one if you want to know a little bit more about me. But I started knitting in October of this year, so really only like 2 months ago at this point. And I've made quite a few projects at this point. I probably have like 4 projects for almost 5 projects completed now. And I don't know, like 3 out of 5 of them, I guess, are technically for me, but a lot of my whips that I'm working on right now are not for me, and I'm feeling so torn about like making gifts, which feels like kind of silly to say because it's obviously such a wonderful thing to be able to hand make something for the people that you love. But yeah, I'm feeling torn because I started knitting with the intention of basically filling my closet with things that I've made for myself. I think that is such an like cool thing to be able to do, but I just feel like there's so many things that I want to gift, specifically baby clothes. Like there's so many really cute baby knits out there in the world that I feel like I want to be able to make them. So my boyfriend's sister just had a baby, and I will get into this, I promise. I keep saying it, but I will get into it. And it's just like, she's so precious, and I want to make her a ton of like really cute sweaters and jumpsuits and like all these cute little knit things, and I'm torn because, you know, even though baby projects are very quick, like knitting for someone else takes away the time that I can knit for myself. So I guess I'm torn on like how selfish I want to be, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. Maybe once I finish a couple more projects for myself, I'll feel like I need a break and will want to do more stuff for other people. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna finish rambling and I think I'll just get into my first completed object. I only have one this month, and I actually do not even have it with me because I gave it to the person already over Thanksgiving. But it was the beginner jacket from Petite Knit, which is a baby cardigan. I showed it as a work in progress last week, and it turned out really, really cute. I'm so happy with it. I will put a picture of it up somewhere over here just so you can see what it looks like when zip is finished. Really quick knit. I think I probably finished it in maybe like 2.5 weeks or something like that. So it was really quick. I made it in the size 3 to 6 months, and because the baby that I made it for is a newborn right now. She was only like 3 weeks old when I gave it to her. So she's got some time before she can wear it. I used the Majo Garn Extra Fine Merino for the cardigan, which I really liked. I thought the yarn was like really, really nice. It was stretchy, it was comfortable to use, it didn't like hurt my hands after a while. I do think though that on its own that yarn is a little bit, like once it's knitted up, it's not as soft as I probably would have liked. So I think for baby clothes in the future, I probably would use something else, maybe cotton or something. It wasn't quite as soft, and I'm sure she'll be wearing like a t-shirt or a long sleeve underneath, but still I wanted it to be like as comfortable as possible, or I'll use like an actual baby yarn in the future. So that's just my one little thing that I would change. And of course, like, you know, I had some technical issues, definitely, like just me not paying very close attention. So like there was places that I dropped stitches, and then I put them on my needle the wrong way, so they ended up being twisted, or they were just like not done properly. Also, like the buttonholes drove me absolutely insane. They were so hard to like sew up and finish them. It was so hard. So that was something that if I could like knit it across a couple of different rows while I'm knitting, instead of having to go back and like sew them up afterwards, I probably would try to do that in the future, just because I did not love sewing the buttonholes up. But doing the buttons was actually really nice. I didn't mind doing buttons at all. I had to buy bigger needles though. I had like just a sewing kit, like a regular sewing kit, an emergency sewing kit in my apartment, and I was like, okay, I hope that this works and it's fine. And I kid you not, the needle hole was like, I mean, it was like the size of like a pin tip. Like it was so small. I was like, how the heck am I supposed to freaking thread this needle right now? And so I did like one button with that, and I was like, I am absolutely done. There's no freaking way I'm gonna be able to do this. So I decided to order needles that have a bigger eye, and I just waited like 2 or 3 days for those to come before I finished doing all the buttonholes. And then once I had that needle, it was like smooth sailing from there, and it turned out really, really sweet. It just looked so cute. I'm super proud of that project. I got some little note cards from Etsy, or care cards from Etsy rather. You know, I was able to write like, you know, you can hand wash or machine wash, lay flat to dry, and then the fiber content, which I thought was very helpful, just so that you don't have to think about like how do I even wash this thing that's handmade that doesn't have any tags? So I wanted to make sure that I included that. And then I also got some little labels to put on the neckline, just as a reminder that it was, you know, handmade and made special for the baby. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. It was such an easy pattern to make. I would definitely make it again for, you know, like if I have baby showers coming up in the future. I think it would be a really easy gift to just like make for a baby. I will probably make that pattern again in the future. And that kind of was what got me thinking about if I want to make more baby clothes or not, because it was so fun and it was such a quick project. But yeah, I mean, you know, I can't wear baby clothes, so I don't know. But at the same time, like, I have a baby in my life to make baby clothes for. I might as well practice. And then maybe when I have a baby in the future, if I have a baby, you know, if I have a baby, I can like be really well versed in making baby clothes. And I'll have a bunch of baby patterns too, I guess. I don't know. I will just have to see how I feel about that in the future. So that was my first finished object, and the only one. I was hoping to have one more for today, but I haven't finished it yet, so I felt bad including it as a finished object, but it's still a whip. So let's get into my whips. So my first whip for this month, well, I'm gonna go oldest to newest, right? So the one that I've been working on the longest. So this is my Novice Slipover. That's the back. And the front, still going strong. I'm almost done though. I was able to get the collar done. I think the last time I showed you, I had only done the body. So I was kind of getting bored of doing the body. Like, it's just like very boring to do stockinette stitch the whole way. So I decided to, like, when I needed a break from doing the body, I went and I did the collar, which is really nice. It's double folded, so it's really nice and thick. It's very squishy. And I think, you know, if you wanted to add elastic into it in the future, it would be really simple to do that. And then again, like, same thing, I would kind of alternate like body, do the collar. When I got bored of doing the body, I would go back, I would do a sleeve, and kind of go back and forth. So I have my collar done, I have both of my sleeves done. So really now I'm on the home stretch and I'm working on the body. I've got about, I don't know, 7 centimeters on the body left, and then I have 7 centimeters of ribbing on the bottom. So I'm almost done, and I think I'm hoping to have it finished like today or tomorrow. So I mean, by the time you're seeing this, it should be done, and probably will be blocking. Almost done. And now it's kind of funny like how different my tension is when I'm only knitting versus when I have to alternate knitting and purling. So I'm hoping that I can block that out, because it looks not great. But honestly, for a first project, like, this one is going incredibly well. I feel really, really happy with how this has turned out. I do want to try it on, but I don't really have anything to hold the stitches. So I think I'm gonna order those cords from the Knitting Barber. I've been looking at them online and I feel like they would be super useful. So I'm gonna try and order those as soon as possible, even though this will probably be done by the time that they even arrive, but for future projects, because I do have a sweater on my like upcoming projects list. So yeah, and then the pattern says like, if you're feeling brave, you can do an Italian bind off on the sleeves, but I did not do that because I feel like I'm kind of in a rush to finish this. I've been working on this for probably like 6 weeks now, maybe almost, yeah, maybe like 6 weeks at this point. So I'm in a rush to finish this. I am focused way more on the finished product now versus the process. So learning an Italian bind off is not really something I want to do at the moment. I think moving forward. I think it looks very clean and crisp, so I probably will learn it, but not today. So yeah, this one is almost done. So I'm excited to finish it, and as a reminder, I'm using Sandnes Garn Double Sunday in the color Light Nougat, and then the Sandnes Garn Tin Silk Mohair in the color Light Beige. Yeah, so almost done. Hopefully in the next like day or two, and then maybe I'll be able to wear it for our next episode together. So next one that I cast on recently is the Cumberland bracelet blanket from Cadery. And so this blanket is actually going to be a gift, so I will talk about it, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. So yeah, this is going to be a blanket, and I kind of like followed the pattern, but I was also like, I'm just gonna wing it because the pattern called for like a certain number of stitches, and when I was casting it on, I was like, that feels like it's way too short. So I kind of just was like, I'm not gonna do that. So I think I doubled the stitch count, or maybe at least like did 1.5, because I wanted it to be pretty big, and I think it definitely is pretty big. I'm using a 15mm needle with a 100cm cord, so it's pretty big. The yarn that I'm using is the Amigo yarn from Hobby, and the color like sage green or something like that. I did this last time and I couldn't remember what color it was, so I think it's something like that, but I will link the exact one in the description below, along with the pattern and everything else that I mentioned in the video. It's a really, really pretty pattern. It's supposed to look like kind of like little squares. I don't know what it's called, but it's really nice, and I think this is gonna look so stunning when it's finished. And then it has little like tassels around the edges, so I am super excited to work on this, but I already feel like it's gonna take me so long, and I want it to be a Christmas gift, but you know, I have like a month until Christmas now, a little less than a month. So I've got to get to work. I've only done maybe like 8 rows, something like that, 10 rows. It's not a lot. And because it's so big, I think it's just going to take me a really long time. But we're working on it. So I've only started it maybe one and a half weeks ago, and then I took a couple of days off from working on it because we were away for Thanksgiving, and I only wanted to bring like 1 or 2 projects with me. I'm excited to work on this. I think it's going to be really nice. Hopefully next time I chat with you, this will be done, because we'll be almost at Christmas at that point. So let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. So the last whip that I'm going to show you is kind of like a fun little 2-for-1, because I've made some changes. So I'm working on the Oslo Hat as one of my gift knits. I'm making one for my mom, and then I'm making one for my dad. And I started making the one for my mom, as you can see, and it is just not working. First off, I think the yarn is a little bit too thick, so because the yarn is held double, it's too thick, and I think it doesn't really work for this project. I think I'd probably have to hold it single, and also it's acrylic, so it's just kind of stiff, and I don't think it's the right material for a hat. So I basically just took the one for my mom off of my needles, and I'm gonna scrap this project. I was using Hobby Butterfly, which is like a color changing yarn, but yeah, I don't know, I just didn't like the way it was coming out, and it tangles, this yarn tangles like crazy. I probably spent like an hour trying to untangle it one day, so I was like, after that I was like, I'm over this, I don't want to work on this. So I took it off my needles, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with the yarn yet because I don't love it, but I will probably try to do something with it. So yeah, we'll see. But because I was making the same project for my dad and I bought different yarn for him, I was able to cast that one on. And it's really new. I only cast it on maybe like an hour ago. So this is like a super new project for me. But this one is already off to a much better start. So, and I think it's my yarn choice that's really making a difference. So I'm really excited to do this one. I used the Friends Extra Fine Merino for my dad's version of the Oslo hat, and that one, I mean, the yarn is beautiful. It's really soft. So the acrylic yarn I felt like was like hurting my hands because it was so stiff. This one is a lot softer. It's much more comfortable to knit with because this is done on like a 3.5 millimeter needle, and it's just so tiny. So yeah, I think having a softer yarn is much nicer for this project. It's also a superwash yarn, so I know that it will grow a good amount once I wash it and block it. So I decided to knit it one size down since my dad's head measurements were on kind of like the cusp of 2 sizes. So I did the smaller size so that I could leave room for growth basically. And I mean, I only just started it like not very long ago, but so far so good. I really like the material. When I did my gauge swatch, I thought it was like perfect. So I was really, really excited about it. And yeah, hopefully, I mean, again, like it's a Christmas gift, so I have to finish it before my next episode, which will be out like the week before Christmas. Yeah, we'll see. It's only like, I have like 2 weeks to finish these couple of projects, but we're gonna push through. I mean, that one I don't have much to say just because I only just started it, but I'm so much happier with that yarn choice. And the color is navy, which I love, and I think I'm gonna buy this yarn for like the navy color for other projects because I just think it's beautiful. And I love this. I love navy in general, but I love this specific navy, so I want to get it for working on other things. My camera is dying, so I'm hoping I can get as much of this done as possible. So I have a couple of acquisitions that I made. I've only been knitting for like 2 months, so I've made a lot of acquisitions, but I'm gonna go over a couple that I am the most excited about. So the first one, and this is like so funny, like a little thing, but I got some stitch markers, and they are gold little like cat heads. One thing that you may learn about me if you follow literally any of my Instagrams, I have a cat, and he's so sweet. He's like the love of my life. And so I just love cats. I have a really soft spot for cats. So I thought it would be fun to just get some cute little cat stitch markers. I've been using them for some of my projects. The Oslo Hat, definitely. It's knit in the round, so I've been using it for that. And I just love them. They're so cute. It comes in a cute little case and has a cat on it. So yeah, I love that. Very excited about it. Another thing that I got is blocking mats, because now that I'm almost done with my vest, I knew that I would want to wash it and block it. And same with like the hats. So I decided to get a blocking mat. I got this one. It's from Knit IQ, but I just got it on Amazon, so I'll be sure to link this. It comes in a pack with 9 mats, and then it has little T-pins with it. And so far so good. It's like half empty because I have a sweater that I washed drying on it right now. So yeah, just like a store-bought sweater. But yeah, these, I mean, they come in super handy for even just doing my gauge swatches, I am like really glad that I had it, because the first couple that I did, I was using like a cardboard box and it was fine, but I was like making a ton of holes in the cardboard and it was not gonna last me as long as I needed it to. So yeah, I'm happy that I have this now, because I think it's gonna come in so handy once I finish my vest and just start doing more garments in general. So last acquisition that I'm going to share is actually that I got some double pointed needles, because I'm going to try to make socks. And also because some of the projects, like they say that you finish it on double pointed needles, like the Oslo Hat, I think you did finish on double pointed needles, which we'll see like how necessary that is, but figured it would be a good thing to have in my toolkit. So I got this nice case for them, and then I just got, again, like a wooden pack on Amazon. Yeah, I mean, I haven't used them yet because I haven't had any projects that needed them. I am planning to knit some socks in the future. I'm just waiting on yarn to arrive, so we're just gonna see how it goes. I think it's a great skill to have, using double pointed needles, even though I know a lot of people say that they don't love them, but I figured I should try. So that's the other thing. So I got the case separately from the needle, so I will make sure to link both of these in the description. Okay, so the last thing before my camera dies, so is just a couple of things that are upcoming, knitting projects that are upcoming for me. I just ordered some yarn yesterday because it was Cyber Monday, so I wanted to make sure I got everything on sale. Ordered from Hobby, so I'm just waiting for those to come in, and then these are projects that I'm looking forward to starting after Christmas, once I finish all of my gift knits. So the first one, which I actually already have the yarn for, is going to be sweater number 23 from my favorite things knitwear. I'm using the La Manna Como Grande yarn and the La Manna Premia yarn for that one, and I bought the pattern and everything. I'm just kind of waiting until I finish my vest and my gifts before I start that one, because I know it's going to be kind of a longer project for me. But I'm super excited about it, and I mentioned it in my last video, so yeah, I can't wait to start it. But I also got a couple of other things that I'm ready to, or gonna be ready to start, that are in my hobby order that I'm waiting for now. So the first thing is, like I mentioned, I like the Oslo Hat. I really like the yarn that I'm using for it, so I got more of it because the reason I even did the hobby order in the first place is because I wanted to still make the Oslo Hat for my mom, but I wanted to use the same yarn that I'm using for my dad's hat. So I ordered new yarn for her. I got the same yarn, just in a different color. So she wanted the sapphire color, which I love. I have plans to use that color for a cardigan next year, so I'm excited to see what it looks like in person and make sure that it's actually what I want to do for the cardigan. I purchased the yarn for my mom's Oslo Hat, and then I also was like, can't only order like, 3 or 4 balls of yarn. I should order like a full, order's worth of yarn. So I got some more of the same extra fine merino to make another Oslo Hat for my boyfriend, and then make one for myself. So my boyfriend is gonna get the emerald green, and I'm getting the tomato red. I'm very excited. I've had a red hat on my list of things for a while, so can't wait to make those. And I think, the Oslo Hat should be a pretty quick project, so I'm excited to finish this one and get those other ones started. Some other things that are on my mind lately has been socks. So I got some sock yarn to try. I got one of the, I think it's called it's a silly sock yarn in the flower pop version. So I got the color peony, which I just thought was fun. I wanted to try 2 different types of yarn. So I got the silly sock yarn, and then I got the rainbow yarn. the 4-ply yarn of the rainbow sock yarn. So I got a red for the rainbow sock yarn because I desperately need to have red socks. So I wanted to try that for my solid color and then do the sock yarn to try self-striping yarn and see how that goes for me. And my camera's dying, so let's go change the battery. Okay, I'm back. Camera is charged enough to get me through finishing this video. So I think I left off talking about my socks. So I got some sock yarn. Yeah, I'm excited. I think socks, so I mentioned in my first podcast episode that I like just quick projects, things that I can finish quickly, because I am like a finished product kind of knitter. I think the process is nice and I do enjoy it, but I'm knitting to get the final project. So I think socks will be a fun, satisfying project for me. That's why I got the double pointed needles. I also did buy a 9-inch circular needle. I'm just waiting for it to arrive because I have a feeling I'm not gonna love the double pointed needles, but I do think it's worth trying. So with that being said, I got sock yarn and I'm excited. I thought the self-striping yarn would be fun and just make it a little bit more interesting, so I got it, and if I like it, I'll probably buy more. I was talking to my mom a couple of weeks ago and she was saying that my grandma used to knit my dad's mom, and like before she met my dad, the only pairs of socks that he had were hand knit socks from my grandma, which I think is like just like funny and very wholesome and sentimental. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I want to be, you know, all my socks are hand knit. So that is just, yeah, a little anecdote, I guess, about my history with sock knitting. Yeah, I'm just waiting for that stuff to arrive. And then the next thing that is on my wish list from my hobby order that I got is a headband. So I made a hat and a scarf. That was like my first couple of projects that I did, and they are great. I do wear them now that it's gotten actually cold, but I wear my hair in a bun a lot because I have curly hair, and most of the time that I'm going outside is like if I'm going to the gym. So my hair's up in a bun and I can't really wear my hat that I made. So I am finding that it makes more sense for me to have a knit headband. So I'm gonna try to make a knit headband, and because a knit headband is like so simple, I just feel like maybe I don't need a pattern. So, because I want it to just be a simple, like easy breezy kind of piece to make. So I feel like if I just kind of use like the stitch count for like a hat that I used, or a hat that I've made, I should be fine somewhere in between like somewhere in between the chunky hat that I made and the Oslo hat, like whatever stitch count makes the most sense for the weight of my yarn. I should be able to figure out and calculate the right number of stitches to make a headband. That's my thought process. So I am just gonna try it and see how it goes. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm gonna do like a really simple stitch, maybe like a 1x1 rib, or I don't know, something that's a little bit like heavier, and maybe do it like double folded over so it's like a thick band. So yeah, so that it actually keeps me warm. So I don't know, but I got some yarn. I got wool. I think it was the Friends wool from Hobby in the color Cappuccino because I wanted kind of a neutral headband. I've been ordering like a lot of bright, beautiful, colorful yarn, which is fantastic, but I think I need to make sure that I have some nice neutrals mixed in with that so that they feel a little bit more practical for my wardrobe. Yeah, we'll see when that gets here if I can make it work. or if I need to go find a pattern. But we'll see. I'm happy to try it and experiment and see how it goes. And hopefully the next time, maybe not the next time, but the one after, I'll be able to share my headband with you. Hopefully. So that is all for episode 2. I did a lot of chatty talking today, even though I didn't have very much to show you. But hopefully I'm looking forward to hopefully having a lot more whips and a lot more completed objects to share now that Christmas is coming. So let's all cross our fingers and make sure that I get all my stuff done on time. And I think that's everything. So yeah, if you like this video, I really hope that you will subscribe and stick around. I'm having a lot of fun making these videos, and you know, just I feel like I've gotten a lot of love from the knitting community so far since I started. So I want, you know, to just keep it going and give back and, you know, be a big part of this community. And I guess that's it. So yeah, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you're working on, or if you have any favorite podcasters that you're watching right now, I would love to know. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I guess we'll chat next time. So thank you again for watching my video, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye.